welcome to this drum tutorial. What we're going to be doing here is basically demonstrating how to get all the microphones onto the drum kit, really to get the best kind of sound. The setup that we're going for here really is called a close mic setup, you know, favoured on most pop and rock modern day recordings, which is a bit different to the kind of stuff that Glyn Johns and various others used to use on bands like Led Zepp, where they'd often just have a couple of overhead mics. And then obviously they throw a little bit of backup on the kick snare. What we're going for here today is kick, snare, high tom, floor tom. We're going for overheads, hi-hat, and possibly even the ride as well. And what that should do is allow us the maximum amount of flexibility, the maximum amount of control when it comes to the mix stage. So the first thing we're going to kick off with is the kick drum. For the kick drum we're going to use a D112. It's an absolutely fantastic mic and it's particularly designed for the kick drum. It does accentuate that top end click and that bottom end that the kick drum is so famous for. One of the really important things about kick drum mics is where you position them really, and it changes the sound completely. Now if you happen to put the kick drum mic really far in, you're going to get lots of that attack, lots of that beta sound. If you pull it out, you're going to get a lot more bottom end, and you're also going to start picking up some of the room ambience and the rest of the drum kit. In this instance we're going to go for a really dry sound and lots of attack. So we're going to push that right in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover that with a deflector shield. Now for the purposes of obviously this video demonstration I'm going to leave that out of the way so that you can obviously see what's going on, but normally we would cover that mic stand like this, and that would then basically provide a little bit of isolation, a little bit of dampening for that kick drum. But for now we're going to leave that out of the way. We'll put the cable on. Right, next up is the snare drum. We're going to be putting two mics on this. We're going to put two on the top, which is a technique I've been favouring recently, and it just helps produce that really heavy, hard-hitting kind of snare drum. Now you can put another one on the bottom, and if I get a chance we may just do that as well, but for now we're going to put the RE20 and the Shure SM57 on. Both of these are dynamic mics. This one weighs an absolute ton, the RE20. In fact, I think one of the things Electro Voice used to do when they were demonstrating these mics is hammering nails in with them. They are really hardcore. So let's get these on. One of the key things when you're doing these snare mics is to remember about phase, and what you're going to get if you start using lots of microphones on an instrument. Drum kit is a great example. You're going to run into phase problems eventually, and phasing is basically where the same sound hits different microphones at different times. What it will do is it'll reduce the power of the signal. It's going to result mainly in a loss of bottom end, which really we don't want on our snare. So we try to get the RE20 and the SM57 as close as humanly possible without them touching, because obviously the vibrations of the drum kit could make them bang. And that should result in a fairly phase coherent sound. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to throw another one on the bottom just so you can see how that works. That's our kick and our snare taken care of. The next thing to think about are the toms. What we're going to be using on these today are Sennheiser 421s. Great microphones, fairly industry standard. You do tend to get a really good tom sound out of them, really kind of round. They are dynamic mics. You could use condensers if you want that little extra kind of high-end detail, but we're going for rock here, and really what we want is that attack. We want the aggression, we want the pounding from these drums. So let's get on with that then. Floor toms taken care of, the next thing really to start thinking about is our cymbals. And really for cymbals you really want to be choosing a condenser mic to really capture that high-end detail that the dynamics just don't really fare too well with. The microphones that we're going to use on the ride and on the hats are the SE Electronics SE1As, which are small diaphragm condensers, and they do a very good job of picking up these cymbals.